Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
All right. Good news for people out there. The Ahsoka end credit song is now available on Spotify. If you have Spotify, we don't have Spotify.
Oh,
But yeah, Kevin Kiner got it up there somehow. Hooray! Because I actually thought the music has been pretty good. I really want the Balon Shin song from the beginning.
yeah, I've been surprised at a lot of criticism for this soundtrack I've seen. Not a lot of people like it. No, I mean, I think a lot of people do like it, but there's been plenty who don't as well.
I think there's a lot of soundtrack left to experience, and
Well, certainly.
I actually really liked the Balon Shin opening song thing. It was awesome.
Well, I'm just happy Kevin Kiner is getting to do some live action Star Wars.
Yes.
He's been the animated John Williams for years at this point.
Not that he hasn't done non-animated
Well,
projects,
yeah, I
because
know.
he has.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying for Star Wars, he's been the man. I've really loved
Yeah.
a lot of the things he's done in animation.
Critics seem to be enjoying the show as well. I've kind of been looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score we've got up there already for the show. It has a 89% as the average score and an 82% as the audience score.
I was kind of wondering how this would score with the critics. I do wonder if it gets some extra points for all the female representation.
Let's
Plenty
not
of
go
that.
there.
Well, I know, but there is plenty of that there, and some
There
of the
is, but
critics do
It's
do
funny
value
because
that quite a
in
bit.
this show it should be, because if you're continuing Rebels, well, Kanan is dead. We saw Zeb has moved on. He's doing some work.
Are we going to see Zeb in this?
I really
mean,
want to.
I
I want to get a
figured.
whole ghost crew together.
Yeah.
Ezra,
Well,
we're going to
as
go
many as we
find
can.
him, but, all that's left right now from the ghost crew are Hera and Sabine, and Ahsoka kind of hangs out with them.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean,
does.
That's kind of the natural arc of these character stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
From Rebels. You really, I mean, you could have Zeb involved, I guess. But I think Zeb would cost a lot of money. Zeb looked really good
He
in The
looked
Mandalorian.
really good.
So,
Like, really good. Like, they decided to actually pay some of the VFX artists.
there was some money being spent on that one. And so I don't know that they want to have him in too many shots, because I'm thinking that it's a pretty penny to pay the people who did that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Another thing I have just recently found out, I'm going to move away from Ahsoka, which makes me sad. I'd like to stay on there, but
In a couple days, we'll be getting another episode.
yes. But the Disney has set the D23 for this year. It's September 8th through the 10th. There's going to be a 90-minute Disney Studios showcase panel. That will take place on Sunday, which is a shame because they're live streaming all their Saturday panels, and there's no Star Wars panel listed. There's like a celebrating 60 years of the Avengers or Marvel or something.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
But they are live streaming their entire Saturday schedule.
I mean, but what do you really announce at this point, right? I mean, with the writer's strike and the
That's
actor's
part
strike,
of the
it's
problem.
kind of hard to be like, yeah, we're going to make this eventually. I mean,
This
you
is
can get some
coming
writers and actors.
someday.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's probably going to be a pretty light
It's gonna be a
D23 in
somber
terms of...
affair.
I mean, it really is. You can't have the actors there. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be... You can't... Like I said, you can't really do announcements of anything right now because there's no guarantees. I'm not saying the writer's strike's going to go on for years, but it's certainly going to impact when you can kind of expect things, right? We could go on for months yet. And at that point, I mean, we already seen Dune Part 2 got delayed.
Yeah. Sad
That's
face.
probably not the last thing. No, I'm really looking forward to Dune 2. So that
I know.
kinda-
I was already heartbroken when they said they were delaying Craven.
Yeah, me too.
It's Craven time.
Yep. I was really sad about that one.
One thing that is interesting is Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka Tano, is hosting the 100 Years of Classic Characters Unforgettable Stories panel.
Is she allowed to?
She's not an actor, and then why not?
I know. I'm just saying. There's.
She's not in any acting projects.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time.
I mean, hosting a panel might be a little different. I don't really know
I don't
what
really
the
think
rules
it is. I
are.
think if you're in any way associated with the studio, that's a no-no. I mean, I don't know the rules, and I know Ashley Eckstein isn't. She hasn't been doing a whole lot other than.
Other than running her fashion empire. you
Well,
mean?
no. I mean, other than playing Ahsoka in
I know.
the given shows, I don't know that she expanded too much beyond
Boy,
that.
it's a good thing that Star Wars isn't having a celebration next year. It'd be really sad with no actors.
It would be
It's like Disney saw it coming.
maybe. I mean,
Speaking of strikes, you and I watched the video yesterday. Tony Gilroy was at the New York picket line, and he gave like a fiery speech.
I did see that. We watched
the
that together.
writers.
Yeah.
to the fellow writers.
Yes.
It's pretty great because it looked like it came right off the top of his head. He was going,
Well,
with the roll.
He is a bit of a writer.
I know, but if he would have had time to actually write it and polish it, which is probably against the rules of the strike.
Yeah.
It was kind of amazing. I love when he kind of a couple of points that he hit on were that they are the content.
Yes, absolutely.
They need to remind the studios that these writers, this is the content. It is them. It is them writing on the pen and paper, giving this to you. They are the content and should be recognized.
Well, I agree with that 1,000%. I mean, not to quote Star Wars and Lucas, but there should be a symbiotic circle here, right? You have these writers who create the content that you make money from, so they should be well paid. And again, as I've said in every video we've done on the strike, I don't know the finer points.
No.
So I don't want to just say that the writers are 1,000% in the right and the studios are 100% in the wrong or whatever. But it does feel like, they create this, then you make the money off of it, so they should be well compensated. There shouldn't be issues. If
Could it perhaps be the abuse of the writers that have given us such not great content lately?
Well, there has been.
If they're just expected to churn out piece after piece after piece, are we really getting their best work?
I don't think so. I mean, I've brought this up before. I mean, how many of these writers are probably working in franchises that they don't even want to work in? I mean, that's kind of become the thing over the last 15 years is the franchise, the mega franchise.
Exactly.
So I think you have a lot of writers who are kind of, I guess this is my job, I got to keep cranking this out, but I don't really have a passion behind it, which is ironic because that's the last thing the fans want, right? We don't want writers coming in who don't actually care, who are just writing for the sake of their job and writing. I mean, I get that that's what they have to do, but it is kind of this strange dynamic we have.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like that's another reason why they're almost abusing the literary aspect of things. They're taking anything that's ever been written that anyone had an inkling in reading at one time. They're like, quick, turn it into a movie or a TV show, because they're not allowing the writers to think for themselves. They're going, here, this sold on the bookshelves and it was good or something, and let's just make it.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how it's got to be frustrating, because I would imagine most writers, and as someone who is a bit of a writer himself, or likes to fashion himself as one, mm-hmm. I love writing. I obviously want to write what I want to write. And as much as I would, I enjoy writing Star Wars, of course, I do the fan fictions and so on. But I mean, you have to imagine most people, or a lot of people who get into writing, they want to tell their own stories. And yet here you get into this business that's like, no, we don't want your stories. We want the story about Spider-Man or Batman or all these characters that have been around forever, more or less. And that's got to be a little annoying and a little frustrating. That's not what you got into the industry for, and yet that's what the industry wants from you.
Yeah. Super frustrating.
Yeah.
Tony Gilroy's speech, if you haven't had a chance to watch it, I think you should. It was really well done. It would have made Marva proud. And he ended it by saying, one way out.
Yeah, he did.
Because there really is one way out with the strike, and it's getting a resolution that all parties can be happy with.
Well, I think AI is really a frightening thing, too. I mean,
AI is part of the problem, but so is streaming. That's another big contention for them, yeah.
There's a lot of problems, but I mean, AI is getting so good that, I mean, we were kind of, for fun, we brought a Darth Vader bot into the Discord the other night, and it's like, this feels like a real person that it's responding to us and doing these things and roasting one of our members pretty badly. But it's kind of a matter of time, right, before it gets to the point where it's cranking out content that you can actually use it, what it's creating, and you're going to get away with it.
I mean, I have a coworker who had to write a best man speech, and he kind of plugged in some of what he wanted into Chat GPT, and it spat something out, and then he kind of retooled it through there saying, yeah, use this word less often, tried using this, and he got a really great speech out of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for his friend. I don't know why.
Well, he didn't tell his friend. He just told us.
Well, of course you don't.
Well, he plugged in, here's some of the things I want you to talk about, some of the things I want you to mention.
I mean, I guess
gives an answer.
Yeah, if you're not a writer and you really want to try to convey something, I don't really fault you for that. I think that's kind of fine. I think that's what it almost should be used for. I got this speech. I don't know how to write, or I'm just not good at it, but I got these things I want to say, and I can plug them into this thing, and it's going to help me. I don't think that. I mean, how many people go to a friend I got this speech? So I don't think that's necessarily the worst. I think what's wrong is when we are replacing genuine human creativity with artificial intelligence, when people are literally losing their jobs in these creative industries because we can just plug it into a computer. All right, well, I think I've rambled on long enough, so that's going to be all we got for you this time. Now it's your turn. Take to the comments below and weigh in on any of the topics we've kind of covered here today. And let's talk some Star Wars and some artificial intelligence. And until next time, thanks for watching.